What's going on, everybody? This is RF Mike, and tonight we are continuing on our conversation about Android Wear and why I went with the LG Watch Urbane. First off, I'm going to start off with a few answers to some questions that people might have out there. Just a shot in the dark on stuff. First off, if you want an Android Wear watch that has the biggest face, sadly enough, it's going to be you won't be able to find it on the Play Store. But the LG G Watch is the biggest face display, coming in at 1.65 inches, 400 milliamp hour battery, 512 megs of RAM, Snapdragon 400. Of course, it is updated to the latest Android software. It is very basic looking Android Wear watch. It is the standard ISP LCD display, 240 pixel density, Gorilla Glass 3. Mine's held up quite well. But you won't find it on the Play Store. You will have to go elsewhere to Amazon, eBay, look for refurbed units or ones that are brand new in the box that have just never been used if you want a watch with a big display on it. Next up, we will talk about the Samsung Gear Live. Now, this watch, a lot of people weren't too sure about it, and it was kind of something out of left field when it was originally announced. The Gear Live is one of the only watches, Android Wear watches, that has a Super AMOLED display on it. The downsides to it is only a 300 milliamp hour battery, does run 512 megs of RAM. The processor, when it was originally announced, they were just saying it was a dual core. They weren't specifying what it was. A lot of people do think it is a Snapdragon 400 CPU. Like I said, one of the downsides is battery life. It's only a 300 milliamp hour battery built in. But it was one of the first watches as well to have Wi-Fi also. Next up, if you guys want a watch that is thin on the wrist and not super bulky, the Asus Zen Watch will be the one you want. Because I believe I mentioned in the last video, the girth of this is only 1.9 millimeters. So it is the thinnest watch. It also is an AMOLED display. Not a Super AMOLED, but an AMOLED. Downsides to it is it did not have a heart rate monitor, no Wi-Fi, which is something they fixed. They put Wi-Fi in the next model, but then they took away the biosensors that were built into this on the Asus Zen Watch 2. I believe it does have a 400 milliamp hour battery, 512 RAM, Snapdragon, and the watch face size on this is a 1.63 inch size. So the face isn't as big as the G Watch, but it looks good and it's nice. And another watch worth mentioning that I don't have in front of me, but I have done a video on, is the Sony Smartwatch 3. That watch actually has one of the biggest batteries that you can get built into an Android Wear device. It is currently, at this moment, it is a 420 milliamp hour battery built in, 512 RAM. It was one of the first watches, besides the Moto 360 first gen, to have an ambient light sensor built into it. And theirs is built in kind of above the display, so it can self-adjust on lighting. And that one, nice thing to that is it is a thicker watch, the girth-wise, but it uses a micro USB for charging. So you don't need any special dock or anything. You can just take your micro USB and plug it straight in. As for the Asus Zen Watch 2, like I said, it's the follow-up to the original Asus Zen Watch. It's still a 400 milliamp hour battery. It still has an AMOLED display. It's been upgraded with the Wi-Fi built in. Water resistance is a little better, and then it does have the built-on speaker, so you can do your phone calls right through the watch, just like the Huawei Watch. And that's about it for the square watches. Next up, we will go into the round watches, and like I said, why I went with the LG Watch Urbane over the other ones that are out there. So we'll talk about that next. On to the round watches. The ones that I have here in my house, like I said, is we have the women's Moto 360, and I have the Urbane, the first edition. This is as you guys have seen, the rose gold women's edition that my wife loves and enjoys. The Moto 360s probably do sell probably the most out of all the Android Wear devices. That's my good guess, because I mean, most people that, other YouTubers or people that you'll see online or people that are into tech, will generally have a Moto 360. The reason why I didn't go with these, we'll start with the original Moto 360, is the first one had the, not this model, but the first one had the TI OMAP 3 processor, which is an old processor, and kind of got laggy, and there are issues with updates with that. It was only a 320 milliamp hour battery, but it was one of the first watches to have the ambient light sensor, and it also had wireless charging, which they carried on into the women's in the second edition. And as for the second edition, they didn't change much. They just improved the internals. They went with the Snapdragon 400 processor, and they bumped it to a 400 milliamp hour battery. And they also made the display better. It became a 360 by 330, versus the first generation of the Moto 360 was only a 320 by 290. So it was pretty pixelated in the first gen. So the second gen does look better. Watch face size wise, both the first gen and the second gen are a 1.56 inch watch face. So the size has pretty much stayed the same. When it came to being actual round watch faces, LG was the first to announce the LG G Watch R, which was the first full round face with no ambient light sensor at the bottom, so no flat tire like you've seen on the Motorola 360s. With the G Watch R, it is the exact same display size as this. It's a 1.3 inch display, 410 milliamp hours, 512 megs of RAM, Snapdragon 400. The G Watch R originally had Wi-Fi built in, but it was not active in use, so it wasn't considered a Wi-Fi model. Later on, when we got into further software updates, they had to go back through FCC branding and get the Wi-Fi activated and kind of relaunch the watch. But it was the first watch to come out with a P OLED display, which the P stands for plastic organic light emitting diode display. And the pixel density is 245 pixels. So that's not too bad. And it's definitely a good color. Like, everything pops. You don't have much of an issue seeing this watch out in the sun. And the G Watch R had the engraved etching, where you'd have your markings for time, like your 15 minute, 30 minute, 45 minute, and then all the outside etching. And the crown that went around, or not the crown, but the facing that went around the glass was actually raised and lifted a little bit, and it was a nice black look. A lot of people didn't like it because of that. They wanted something more clean. So then when the Urbane was released later on, and the LG Watch Urbane is basically the same as the G Watch R, exact same battery life, same screen size, like I said, same display. It's just a much cleaner look. And then one of the newer watches that have come out that is not a full round but has another ambient light sensor is the Fossil Q Founder, which is a 1.5 inch circular display. And that is a LTPS LCD, pixel density of only 240. And then the Fossil Q Founder is actually one of the first watches with 1 gigabyte of RAM, 4 gigs of internal storage, which is common in all of them. And then the processor is an Intel Atom processor. So that is one to keep an eye out. If you guys want something that's kind of in between, not as much on the cost, that would be one to look for. And then your only other watch that's out there that's supposed to be one of the a higher end, much classier, nicer looking watch is the Huawei Smartwatch. And that one's a 1.4 inch display, 300 milliamp hour battery, which is a downsize compared to this. But its resolution is a 400 by 400 pixel pixel display, and the pixel density is 286 pixels. So that's a pretty dense display. But the primary reason why I went with this, like I said, is because this has been on sale, and that's why I got it, is for the sale price, and because it does have the Wi-Fi built in. So again, the final reason why I went with the LG Watch Urbane over the other round watches that are out there true round watches, there's really the Huawei Smartwatch is the only other full round face out that's at the moment available. I went with the Huawei because of battery life being a 410 milliamp hour. It does have built-in Wi-Fi. It has a nice stainless steel casing to it. It is online. It doesn't show it online, but it is, when you take a look at it right here at the bottom of the watch, if we can get that to focus, it is a dual mic listening for listening to your voice for voice commands and all. So that is one other reason. Besides that, like I said about the watch, the LG Watch R, it is the first P-OLED display, one of the first type of P-OLED displays in smartwatches. It has the basic water and dust resistance like all the other ones do. It's not super girthy compared to maybe a few other ones that will be coming out here in the future, such as Casio's bringing out a watch, but it's pretty girthy. This is a 10.9 millimeter thickness, but it at least does have all the updates to the newest software. Everything works good on it, runs good so far. I've enjoyed it. Runs a quad-core Snapdragon 400. There's really not too much else to say. I mean, yeah, it is one of the smaller size displays at a 1.3 versus I think the Huawei is a 1.4, and I think that's the biggest there is for a full-size round Android Wear watch at the moment. I don't know if the Tag Heuer is a bigger size than that. I'd have to look the information up on that one. But like I said, if you guys want one that's a good roundness and you don't mind the girth of the knuckles on it for where your bands connect in, definitely take a look at the LG Watch Urbane while it's available on sale, because I mean, you're saving $100 on it. That makes it better being a full-size display versus the Fossil Q Founder. I mean, you can't really get another round watch for under $300. Like the women's watch here, this one's about $330, and then after tax and everything, you're looking at maybe like $370 for this if you're to buy this straight out. And the men's sizes, yeah, they can vary too, especially if you start looking at the men's Moto 360 2nd Gen. You want the black band right from Motorola. That can go double the cost, or not double the cost, but it can be almost $100 more than what this one would run full retail. So yeah, just take a look out there, what's out there for you guys that you like. For me, so far, I'm enjoying the LG Watch Urbane. If you guys have any comments or questions about this video, I know it's a long one. I'm sorry for that. I just want to make sure I get out all the information I could that I'm aware of on these watches. And like I said, the older ones that are out there, good luck trying to find them if you do hunt them down. I mean, they still work great. Like I said, my LG Watch works good. But yeah, if you want to go full round face, look at the Urbane. If you can, hold one in hand, check them out, see what you think of it. This is RF Mike. If you guys have any comments, questions, or please hit that like button down below. Leave your comments in the comments section. Subscribe if you're new. Look to be seeing some more watch face videos, especially now that I have a round display to use. We'll start getting into some round faces that are out there. I'll see you all in the next one. Good night.